Oh, God.
Okay, so we figured that out. We figured out how to record. I looked up on our Zoom page and we had no recordings because I was going to upload them to YouTube. I was like, okay. So we at least got that figured out. We do have a YouTube
Okay.
channel. Hi, everybody. Mom to mom. Mel, Cat, Carrie. I'm Mel.
I'm Kat.
I'm Carrie.
You would have to be your
I
last
would have to be. Yeah.
one. So this is our reboot of our blog talk radio show that we did 15-ish years ago. And we're rebooting because times
Yeah.
have changed. Our lives have changed. Kids are grown. We got new issues that we're talking about. So not that we don't want to talk about our old issues. I think that would still be fun because now we have experience, right? Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
we got insight. We could help a mother out.
Definitely been there, done that.
Exactly. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
Ugh.
That's exactly it. So, anyways, so we were just chatting about how, holidays were great. I had COVID on New Year's. And so now what's today? The 11th. I'm finally getting back to normal. And everyone I've talked to that has said that I said, hey, I had COVID. Why is my hand raised? I'm already talking. I don't know everyone has said, oh my God, I just got over flu A. Like everybody has had flu A. I'm the only one that had COVID, apparently. So are you guys dealing with any of that illness going around or
I
oh,
haven't had either. I'm
not
not
wood
wood. I
for
have not been
sure.
sick.
You haven't, Kat?
Nope.
No.
Wow, how? Of course I traveled. So and I was in the international freaking airport, which was a nightmare in
Yeah.
Miami. Oh my God. It was so bad that Mr. Dan Klein wrote a very strongly worded email to the Miami International Airport. Dan Klein did that. That is not a
So,
Dan Klein move.
about what was so horrible about it? I don't like that
Everything.
airport, but
It, oh no. You like that airport? Is that what you said?
I do not like that
Oh.
airport.
Well, just one of many things when it's too much. We'll talk about let's plan a show around it. How about that?
Best and worst airports.
Oh, it's awful. It's that in Atlanta. Awful. Tampa, amazing. Tampa's a great airport.
It is. I think it's the flamingo.
You think that's it?
I think that's it. Everybody's like, how could you not be happy surrounded by a 30-foot
What's her
flamingo?
name again? She
I
has a
have no
name.
idea. Happy. I don't know. I have no idea. But
No, she
yeah,
has
I
a
go
name. I
between
know.
Orlando and Tampa.
Yeah.
Orlando's not that great either, but
No.
you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly. Well, Miami's just awful. Just awful.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I don't know if you saw, I actually did come up with something I wanted to talk about called Dreamers. Um, And the reason is, our kids are now grown, right? And they're at the age where they're figuring out what they want to do with their life and, and pursuing that. And it's funny because I saw, how Facebook does like your old posts from the past, from your history.
Yeah.
And there was a post in there and you commented on it, Carrie, about that Danielle posted that she was going to pursue her zoology degree finally
Yeah.
because she didn't think she could do it, or for whatever reason, she didn't really pursue it. Well, and again, I mean, that obviously fell apart, but
Yeah.
it got to me thinking how many of our kids actually end up doing, like what they wanted to do when they were kids. I mean, because everybody asks, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
I mean, and do we know anybody whose kids actually? I do know some. So it's like, well, is there something
I
wrong with my kid?
I kind
No.
of have a funny story about that because Lexi and I were talking similar lines over the holidays. And I apologized to her because one of the very first things she ever said she wanted to do, and I felt bad because I totally, the second she said it, I don't know, I was just in my own world or whatever, but I squashed it like
Oh,
just like a dead bug right
you're a
there.
dream
This
killer.
like
Yeah.
dream killer
You
right
shit
there.
all over her dreams, cat.
And she said, because we were talking, and like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Or somebody asked her, or whatever. And she was like, I want to be a dog and cat dentist. And I was like,
There's no
I don't
such
think that's a, I'm
thing.
like, that's not a thing, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, so she's not a dog and cat dentist. So I kind of felt like maybe I should apologize for squashing that and not letting her, like, at least think about it longer than 2 minutes.
She could be a pioneer in the dog and cat dentistry industry. I mean,
Yeah.
She
come
could
on.
have been. She could, but then she calmed my guilt mom fears by going, "Well, Mom, I am allergic to dogs, so it wouldn't
Oh.
have
She
worked.
said what?
I'm allergic to dogs, so it wouldn't have worked."
Yeah.
Probably not.
But it was one of those things that I was like, I kind of, as like, like your mom regret or your mom
Right.
guilt. I was
Oh,
like,
please. We're loaded with
what
it.
it like. I totally just like, I didn't entertain the thought at all. I was just like, that doesn't exist.
Right. Right.
What?
I know. And this is where I was going because you and me and Carrie, we're very similar when it comes to that, right? We're like the reality checker. We even had a show on, do you tell your kid they suck when they want to try out for America's Got Talent? You know what I mean? Are you going to
Yeah.
be the one? Or do you just lie and say, oh, that was amazing. You're such a good singer. Or are you the
Forgot
freaking
about
dream
that
crusher and be
show.
like, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Oh
You know
my
what
God,
I
I
mean?
forgot about that show until just
Right?
now. That's
I mean, that's a legitimate challenge as a parent because you want to support them. You want to rah-rah, cheerlead them,
Yeah.
but you're supposed to be, I mean, to what level? I mean, you got to be
Yeah.
realistic too, because then you don't want them to get destroyed by somebody else. I mean, we got to be the
Yep.
ones that destroy them.
that is our job.
Yeah.
What do you think, Carrie?
Because I've got different levels of kids here, I've always tried to be very open and honest with all of them. And I would tell them, they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, do you really want my opinion?
Right.
And they're like, oh. And I'm like, because I'm going to give it to you straight. But then on other terms, you don't want to hurt their feelings or, smother their creativity where
Right.
you're like, no, that's great. Keep it going.
Right.
So there's that line with that one. So, there's times where I've had to sit there and, maybe have not been 100% behind it,
Right.
but I wasn't going to stop what they were doing.
Well, and you have to it's such a balance, right? I mean, because maybe they're not great at whatever they're talking about, but they can get great, right?
Yes.
Like they
Yeah,
can, anything
absolutely.
that you want to do, if you practice it hard enough and long enough, you're going to get good at it.
Yeah.
And I think of your girls with rowing. I mean, what a physically exerting and exhausting and demanding sport. And they both got into it and they freaking dominated it. Like it's
Yeah.
like they freaking
Yeah.
they
They're
kill
both
it.
D1 athletes,
Right.
and again, if you would have, when I was living down there with you guys, if you would have said, that's what was going to happen, I'd be like, yeah, no way. But then too, a lot of times because I never sugarcoated everything, and
Right.
it wasn't always the lands of
Yep.
rainbows and
Puppy dogs,
unicorns.
right.
So a lot of, and that did help them later on in life to where it's like, okay, if they didn't get, to be in a particular boat, or they didn't get, they didn't do this or do that, it helped them get further in what they were doing. Yes,
Well,
you
and how
could
they
do it,
take
but
that, right? And how they take criticism and how they take, maybe they're not as good as they think they are or whatever. Okay, well, I can get better.
Right.
So it's like I feel like it's really our job to prepare them to be adults in that situation, and how to handle that and how to navigate that and how to, if they really want it, get better, right?
Right.
And how to
Right.
do that. Now, Kat, Lexi's an entertainer, right? She's an actress. Because I remember, I mean, she was with all our girls, were in Bonita Arts Center in the plays, and Lexi
Yep.
was in the plays and stuff. So obviously, you didn't squash that dream because Lexi's still doing it.
Yeah, she wants to be a director, and I knew I couldn't squash that one because it was the first time I ever saw her light up. When she
Really?
talks about that, that's when she lights up. So I know from deep down in her soul, that's where she's supposed to be. Now,
Right.
what she does when she gets there and how she does it and how it turns out, that's different. But the fact that I I want her to live a life that's inspired
Sure.
and not we talked a little bit over break also when she was home about the difference between a routine and a rut. And so I want her to live an inspired life. And
Well,
so, but I
right.
knew that that was the thing that lit her up. That is the thing still to this day. Like, she'll just be like acting like a normal human. And then you bring up something that has to do with that and her passion. And all of a sudden you're like, who are you? Because it's like sparkles shooting out of her, like
Yeah. And I think
every.
that's part of the challenge too, is that I think all of them, all of our kids have something that lights them up, right? And but kind of guiding them in how to make that their life or teach them how they can make money doing that. You know, I mean, that could
Yeah.
be their job. Like Jessica, incredible artist, right? Like she would sit down and she would draw something in like 10 minutes and I'd be like, oh my God, you just, I mean, came up with it all on her own, AP art, you know, all that stuff. But she didn't want to pursue it as a
Yeah.
career because she
That was
said
Michaela as well.
it would take the fun out of it and the joy, and she gets joy from doing it. Well, you know what? She doesn't do it anymore, you know, because she doesn't really have to, and it's just it's so now instead of being all in, she doesn't really do any at all. She does for like for Christmas, she did her boyfriend a drawing for her boyfriend's parents. It was very nice. So she'll do it in that sense, but it was
Back
such
to
a
it though.
release for her. Yeah, it was a really nice way for her to express herself. So it's like, do we push for them to try to make a job out of it, or do we just let them figure that out? If they like fall into something that they're going to make money doing it, then great. Or I don't know. I'm just torn because I think if I'd had guidance and someone telling me, you know, this is what you should do and that's what you should do about something I loved, I probably would have a lot sooner started pursuing that, right? Or
Yeah.
I wouldn't have chosen the path that I chose. I wouldn't have done it
Yeah.
the way it done. You got a comment? You got something you got to say, Mr. Klein?
Just support them in what they want to do. If they're not doing drugs and wearing out the
Yeah.
world, let them be who they are. And if they learn their path 5 years later than you think they should,
Yeah.
that's faith. That's fate.
But shouldn't we be guiding them also?
We always do, don't we?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's our question is, but how much? And so just like push, and then back off and see how they react and what they choose to do, or hey, what's
I
going
don't,
on?
yeah. I know when I grew up, I got no guidance. I got nothing. I got Carrie, go get married. That's all I got. I was
Oh,
not thought,
shit.
no, I was not thought that I was going to be or do anything. So I just played and did whatever. No guidance.
Yeah,
Now I've got mine, and I give them my opinion. I
right.
help them out. Hey, this is what you should do. Like for me, when I didn't tell them what they had to do, but I said, hey, look, when high school comes around, you have a choice. You either get a job or you play a sport, because I knew being part of a team and understanding that would get them to grow more. You say your thing about Jessica, because Michaela was artistic too. She dropped it. But when she got married, she pulled all that in. I'm like, you did a great job putting all that together. Now other
Right.
people are asking her, and sometimes you don't push, but it comes back in.
Right.
Then it becomes a desire of what they want to do instead of having to do it,
And I
which I
think
think
coming
is
from
huge
other
too.
people too helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and so here's another good example. Like when Rebecca first started like singing and learning instruments and stuff, I was like, okay, she's okay, right? But she has gotten to the level, honestly, that like she has really come scoot over there. She has gotten to the level now where we're just like, we're blown away by like the songs that she
Yeah.
writes and stuff.
Can you leave it alone?
Well, I'm trying to make room for,
The screen, let it go.
It's mom.
Hi, everybody.
Mom.
yeah, hi,
Mom
us three.
to dad.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, I was just like, when she was doing the plays and stuff and she'd sing and we would, tell her, maybe try this, try that. But having Dan as a musician and now she's got this whole other person that he's got experience, right? Like he knows, he's been in the trenches, he knows what to do.
I know how to fail.
He never learned how to read music though. And so she was just like, oh, so she didn't really, I think that was kind of a block for her, thinking that she had to know how to read music to do stuff. So she started doing stuff like he was, and she taught herself how to play instruments. Then she joined marching band. She learned how to read music. So it just kind of, even if they learn by what we don't know, they're still learning, I think.
Yeah.
Kat, what do you got to say for yourself?
Well, I don't know how to read music either.
No.
Me neither.
Me neither.
Japanese, I can read Japanese.
Music. I do very much enjoy music, even though I cannot hold a tune to save my soul.
Oh, same.
But I can certainly appreciate it. And, you know, and the same that I appreciate watching our kids try to find their way. And it is a balance between push, shove, release, guide, watch, support. You know, like that little, like the little nudge.
Well, you don't want to turn into Brooke Shields' mom, right? Like where she was basically living vicariously through her daughter. And we don't want to be those people either, right? Like we just want to be, okay, well, this is cool that you want to do this. And here's an idea. Like I was going to go with what I was talking about. Rebecca was, now that she's moved away, you know, Dan and I both were like, go find a recording studio, just go intern, work for free, you know? And she ended up doing that. And it was kind of a joke because the guys, it wasn't like a real situation, but now she is interning for a club DJ because now she's kind of getting into that side of stuff. And she went out and she did that. So I think that my whole point of this is things stick that we don't think are going to stick, right? Like,
well, and you have to know your kids too, because my kids are kind of, I'm sure I don't know where they get this, but they're definitely like, don't tell me what to do. And then I'm going to do the opposite. And so
I wonder where they get that from, Kat.
I have no idea.
You think it could be Scott?
I'm not
sure. Wait. There. Point up, Carrie. It's you, Kat.
I'm going to say this in closing.
Uh-oh.
Because I think this is an important subject you guys are talking about. My feeling is in our generation, the five of us. So
there's four, babe.
1, 2, 3, 4. I think of four and then me. So the four of us, our generation don't let our kids fail. And you have to fail. You have to hit bottom and bounce off of it and learn. That's what we did.
Yeah. Because we were latchkey kids. We did, like we all said, we didn't have guidance.
But we're not, we don't allow our kids in our generation, I'm speaking on everybody that's in our generation, we don't allow our kids to fail. And I think that's the best way to learn. Yeah. Failure is not all that bad.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of good that comes out of failure. So anyway, I gotta go to the shower because they stink. Bye.
Well, and that's it, right? Like, but that's part of the teaching the bad with the good is that, you know, everybody fails. The most successful people in the world fail. And that's how you learn what not to do. And you learn lessons that way. So we may be the bad guys at the moment for, you know, either being that person or kind of guiding them through that. But at the end of the day, when they get older, they'll see, oh, yeah. See, Carrie, you kind of you had a luxury, if you will, of having a coach though for your kids. So that was his job, right? Like he was the tough one.
No, I was never. No, you can ask my kids. You know, being a single mom, this is the way it was going to be. You know, I gave them a lot of space, but I expected a lot.
Right.
And for me, it was on how I raised them, putting them in front of a coach who was not, you know, he was from an older generation. So his kind of style made a lot of the kids cry.
Yeah.
But my kids were like, meh, just like my mom.
So, have you met Carrie?
Exactly. Because I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to love you the hardest, but I'm going to give it to you straight.
absolutely. And I'm sorry, but I think that's the most real way to parent. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, there's no, I mean, and that doesn't mean you're showing them or telling them everything. My kids, even to this day, are like, "Oh, I never knew that about you guys." You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, you can still be the adult in the room and shield your kids, but you also have to be the realist in the room, also, and you have
Yeah.
to like be okay. Yes, but look at it from this way, you know, and what if this was the situation? So I think that you're only doing them good by doing that. And
Yeah.
I agree 100% with Dan.
Yeah.
We really don't. Ugh,
Yeah.
poor
Well, it's
Daniel.
kind of, now I don't know if your kids ever did this, but you ever see them? I was just talking to Brenna the other day, and you guys remember the ripsticks, right?
Yeah,
All the
oh
kids
yeah.
to have them. So, I watch my kids, and I've got Brenna on a bicycle, Abby's on the ripstick with a hula hoop around Brenna's, and they're just riding around. And I'm like, someone's getting hurt. But you know
Someone's
what?
getting hurt.
You're going to figure that one out once
Yeah.
somebody falls over.
Yeah, because you
again,
can't be like, okay, stop, put the hula hoop away, because I'm like, "Ugh, you're such a buzzkill. You don't let
yeah,
us make fun." So
yeah. So I was more than happy to just go ahead and let them,
let them.
figure that one out.
Look.
Absolutely. I'm like, okay, go ahead, see how that goes.
Yeah.
But
You know, so we'll take the good with the bad, right? So we'll be
yeah,
the first one they thank when they get any kind of award. I want to thank my mom. I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
Well, and
mom's
I think
usually good.
also that they're quietly watching and learning whether they admit to it or not. And I had a situation where I was talking to Davis about what he's going to do. He's graduating from college in May, and we were talking about what he was going to do. And I was just gently just throwing out like some ideas, like, you're graduating, and this is your degree, and these are some things that you could do. Have you considered any of these, blah blah blah? And he didn't really answer me. We were going somewhere, it was early in the morning, well, where we he's volunteering at the school that I'm at right now. And so we got there, and I had a meeting with this lady, but I wasn't there. And so Davis was at my door, and she was there, and I walk up, and they don't see me. And I hear her asking him, "Oh, you're going to graduate from college in May? So what are you going to do?" Literally verbatim, everything I just said to him rolled out of his mouth.
Isn't that the
yeah,
greatest?
And
When you hear them repeating
I
what you
was
said.
laughing so hard inside, because I was just like, I didn't think he maybe heard a word I said on the way there,
Yep.
but it all of a sudden, I mean, I couldn't have paid her to ask that question and in better timing, you know? And
right,
it
yeah,
was
So what is it?
so
What is it he's gonna do? Now we
we
all
just
want to
don't
know.
yeah,
we don't know. I have no idea. But it
yeah,
was just, I was like, I'm like, you're young, try some things, you're not tied down, he
Yep.
doesn't have a girlfriend, you don't have any pets that are your responsibility, they live with us. Like, go try some things.
Yes.
yeah,
If you and your friends want to go do something, like they're planning a trip to Japan
Oh,
for
wow.
their graduation trip. And I'm like, if you like it there, stick around and teach English, or reapply to teach English. I'm like, you're not going to regret it.
no,
Yes. Absolutely. You're right.
I'm just like throwing out ideas, like, don't be afraid to try things.
Exactly. Well, and that's exactly what I was been trying to teach my kids is, oh my God, I changed careers. Well, I'm one of those that I'll stick, right? Like I'll just stay somewhere. But when I'm forced to not stay in a career and I'm figuring something else out, whatever you choose to do at 18, 19, 20 years old, that is not necessarily what you're going to do for the rest of your life. I mean, not by any stretch. You're going to change your career, your trajectory, wherever, more than once over the course of your life. So don't feel like
Well,
this is the one decision you're going to make in your whole life, because it's not.
yeah,
and I feel like I was kind of like, it could have been just I saw it as a pressure, maybe it wasn't real, but like, to grow up and figure it out and just pick something and do it.
Right.
And I keep telling my kids, being in a you don't have to be an adult right away just because you're
Right.
25.
Figure it out.
Like,
Yeah. Well,
you're
26
not.
on your insurance, but
yeah,
on your
yeah,
health insurance.
like, just try some things out. Like,
And
I don't
don't
know.
you wish somebody would have said that to us? I mean,
Yeah,
'cause I did
nobody
that
told.
anyways, but I probably wouldn't have done it for as long as I did if I'd have had a little guidance, right?
Well,
I
like when
wouldn't
I
have done
graduated,
anything I did.
well, like when I graduated and I started teaching, it was just like, okay, now you're teaching. Nobody
Yeah.
said like that'll always be there. Go try something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually told that to
I'm
Michaela.
doing it now in my
Yeah.
in my late 50s.
Yeah.
Look at me. What were you gonna say, Kara?
Well, first, like what she said with Michaela when she was going through school and she said she wanted to be a teacher. And I'm like, look, to be a teacher can always be there. Maybe
Right.
try something else first with that one. And that, helped there. So, because
And that's one thing that bugs me about like sports like that, Carrie, is that it's so all consuming and takes up so much of their time and their energy and their physical,
yeah,
abilities at their prime in their life, right? And then
Mhm.
they can't make a career out of it. I mean, what are they going to do
yeah,
after college with rowing?
yeah. Well, unless you're my son-in-law,
Right.
he's an Olympian, so he keeps on
Right.
doing
But
it.
even then,
But
it's like
yeah,
you're an
well, that's the
Olympian.
thing. I guess if I would have looked at it going back, I should have put him in golf or tennis or bowling. I mean,
You
because
can make
I
a
don't know, I
career.
think they still do
Even
that.
bowling, you can
Because
make a career out of that.
yeah, because a lot of the other things, there's just no career path.
You know
I
what they
mean,
could do? They could get some rowing and what do they call them? Boats, canoes, kayak,
shells. Yeah,
and put them like in Hudson Harbor or put them in a harbor, and they could be they could do tours,
yeah, yeah,
really fast tours.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm a
That's why
champion. We're gonna go really fast.
and honestly, a lot of them that are their teammates and stuff like that, they go into like sports management, sports medicine,
Yeah.
or training and that type
Television.
of thing. But
Right.
that's yeah. I mean,
I guess there's all these careers that you don't even think about in that regard, right? Like
right.
you can go into print, you could be you could write articles, you could be a
Hmm.
writer, you could be a photographer, you could be, there's a whole other world outside of the
Yeah,
actual activity that they
yeah,
could be involved in. So
yeah.
and they could coach.
Right, right.
So I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. So now I have 3 girls. Oldest is financial advisor. Who knew? Uh, Rebecca's still in her 22-year-old self pursuing music and other stuff, but she does love being a barista and a bartender. So she loves it.
Yeah.
And Jessica literally just started training and got a job as a phlebotomist.
Oh, nice. Okay.
She is getting paid to be a vampire.
Yeah.
That was her lifelong. She always wanted to be a vampire.
Yeah. There you go.
And now she
Who
legit.
knew?
She's in the bus. She's
Yeah.
getting blood out of people.
That's hilarious.
But
Yeah.
isn't that cool though? And we tried and this is another thing that I was going to say was when it comes from someone else, they pay a little more attention. We told her for probably 2 years, you should really look into being a flight attendant. Like
Yeah.
she's very structured, she does very well under structure and she likes to tell people what to do. You know what I mean? She's cute, right? She would love the outfits. So she was like, Well, literally on the flight in Thanksgiving, she sat next to a flight attendant, right?
Ooh.
And they talked the entire time. And the lady was like, you absolutely should pursue it, blah, blah, blah. So that's in her back pocket. That's another thing
Yeah.
that she's keeping. But again,
That's what I wanted to do.
I
Same.
always wanted, are you kidding me? All the
Yep.
traveling you could do.
And my parents the school was in Miami and I grew up in Nebraska and my parents were like, nope, you
Nope.
are not at 18 years old going to Miami by yourself to go to flight attendant school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I definitely
You got
would
older,
have had
you
a
didn't
different
do it?
life.
I was told it was stupid. And a friend of mine, my parents were great. So a friend of mine, her and I actually drove, they were having in Detroit where I was living, her and I drove down there because they were doing this big open call, and her and I got out. We walked up there. We got so scared. We got back into the car and drove home.
What were you scared of? Were you
We were
looking at
just,
your
I don't
competition?
know. I don't know. Well, when you don't have positive backing,
Yeah,
you don't think you can do anything.
it's true. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if you don't have someone giving you the positive, then you're immediately going to go to the
yeah,
negative, right?
yeah,
No, that's a good point. It's a good point. All right, well, we still got 6 minutes. Okay.
yeah.
We got plenty of time. Let's talk. Let's
So,
talk some more.
well, I will tell you, finally, my David, woo, we've gone up and down with so many different career choices. Finally has found one in corrections.
Really?
So, yes, which is funny because here's a kid who couldn't take a direction in his life and didn't like the authority and blah, 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 is now changing around.
Yeah, but he's going to be the one doing the authorizing.
I know. I'm like,
Authoritating.
okay. I'm like, all right, do your thing. So
Good for him.
yeah. Then I
So
had
like
Michaela.
at a jail or
Yeah, in a prison.
wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You gotta be careful.
So, but it's a psychiatric ward. So I'm
oh, for God's sake.
But I'm like, okay, Dave. And he's
How
like,
the hell did he fall into that?
I know, right? It's crazy. But I'm like, all right, but if that's, I mean, he's always been able to deal with he's always been the one that's always been, I told him that he should probably work in because it's creepy when a young man or a man works with younger kids. But I thought maybe in like a convalescent or adult home, he would work, and because he works well with special needs. And I'm like, you know what? Because he's got a really calming, very calm type personality. I'm like, all right, maybe that'll work for you.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, so,
and I think that all goes back to, that's what your 20s are for, right? Finding out what you bring to the table and capitalizing on that. And
your 50s. I think your 50s are for that too.
Oh, totally. We circle back. In our 50s, we're circling back. I mean, we're doing this again, aren't we? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love real estate.
I dipped my toe into the, career center, and I'm like, no, get out. No.
You did this, Terry, you just did the same thing you did when you went to flight attendant school.
I know. I did. I'm
like, this isn't
it. Nope, not me. Nope. I'm out.
This ain't gonna work.
Exit.
Well, but see, and this is what happens though too, and this is another thing I told my kids is things change, right?
Yeah.
Society changes, demand for different careers changes. I mean, there's kids that are working gaming. I mean, that's their job.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine? But I don't think any of them enjoyed, I mean, they joked about it, but I don't think they enjoyed gaming that much where they would want it to be their job full time. But it's a freaking legit job now. Like there's so many things that we don't even have any idea are going to be potential, opportunities for them 10, 15 years from now.
Yeah.
Be in their 40s and be like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm like, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? I know this is coming, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. So, okay, well, cool. I like that. Because I feel like all of our kids have that like creative streak in them, right? And the three of us kind of do also. So that's part of it.
Right.
But like, I don't even want to say names, but you all know the woman that I was really good friends with, and her daughter wanted to be a brain surgeon. Remember her? She's a freaking brain surgeon.
Yeah.
But we figured, right? We figured this kid, she knew from 6th grade, maybe sooner, that's what she wanted to do. And so something about it, she just, gravitated towards, and go figure. And she went, and I think she just got her white coat, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that's so cool though. I mean, and it was really hard to get to that point of, not every kid's like that though. I think the majority are not like that, because we were surrounded by people that their kids were like that for a long time, where their kids did this because they wanted to do that, and they did it, and they did their 6 to 8 years in school, and now they're doing that. And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What? I mean, at least have an idea, right? Like just pursue something. So. But Danielle, that the thing that started this whole conversation was, I still feel like she will eventually end up in that world somehow. She still talks about going and finishing and getting her degree. So and she even said before, I'll just get rich and open a sanctuary. I'm like, that's a
There
good
you go.
idea too,
That works.
So I think they figure it out, right? They find
Yep.
a way to incorporate what they love into their life somehow. If it's not their paycheck, it'll be there somewhere.
Yep.
So I think good job, moms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm patting you. You feel me patting you, Kat?
Yeah.
Yes.
Patting you, Carrie. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Less than a minute. So we're gonna say our goodbyes.
Absolutely.
Every Sunday, 5 o'clock, we're gonna be here. We're not screwing around anymore. Nobody getting sick.
Excellent.
None of that.
Oh, wait,
Not
that's
me.
pointed at me. I'm the one that was sick.
Not me.
Okay, guys. Love
Bye.
you. Mean it.
Until next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.